My daughter called 3 times in 1 hour asking where I was. That's when I knew something was dead wrong. My name's Oliver Bennett. I'm 57 years old, and I never thought my own daughter would try to rob me blind. But when I looked through Rebecca's kitchen window last Tuesday and saw detailed floor plans of my house spread across her dining table, my hands started shaking so bad I could barely hold my phone steady to record what I was seeing. The multimeter reading was all wrong when Rebecca slammed through my patio door without knocking. Circuit overloaded. That's how my brain processes stress after 35 years as an electrical engineer. My daughter looked like she hadn't slept, her makeup smeared, clutching her phone like it was a lifeline. "Dad, I need $15,000. No hello, no, how are you doing?" Just a demand wrapped in desperation. Jordan's medical bills came back denied by insurance. If we don't pay by Friday, they're sending it to collections. I set down my morning coffee and studied Rebecca's face. She had Victoria's green eyes, but right now they held something my late wife never would have shown. Calculation mixed with panic, the kind of look I'd seen in contractors trying to overcharge for faulty wiring. "Becca, Jordan posted pictures at that casino in Scottsdale last weekend. That's not where people with medical emergencies spend their time." She started pacing between my kitchen counter and the sliding door, her heels clicking against the tile like a timer counting down to explosion. "That was before we knew how bad it was, Dad. This is about Sophia's future. What kind of grandfather lets his granddaughter suffer?" Direct hit to my emotional circuitry. Victoria had been gone 3 years now, never got to meet Sophia. The grief still shorted out my reasoning sometimes, left me vulnerable to exactly this kind of manipulation. If Jordan's sick, show me the medical bills. Show me the insurance denial, then we'll talk. Rebecca's voltage spiked, her face flushed red. "You want documentation? You want proof your own daughter is telling the truth? After everything Mom and I did taking care of you when you had your heart surgery." That stung, but facts were facts. Your mother took care of me. You visited twice in 6 weeks. And I paid for that cardiac rehab out of pocket because you convinced me to drop my supplemental coverage to save money. She grabbed the back of my dining chair, knuckles white. The afternoon light through my window highlighted the tension in her jaw. "You're sitting on a pile of cash while your family falls apart. Mom would be ashamed of you." I stood slowly, my back protesting after hunching over paperwork all morning. At 57, I'd learned that people who invoke the dead usually have the weakest arguments. Your mother would tell you that a woman provides for her family through work, not by guilt-tripping her father into funding a lifestyle she hasn't earned. The chair flew backward, clattering against my kitchen island. "You think you're teaching me some lesson, you selfish old man?" Rebecca's voice dropped to something cold and technical. "I know where you keep that money. I know you don't trust banks after what happened to Grandpa in 2008. And I know you go golfing every Monday and Wednesday at 2 p.m. without fail." The threat hung between us like a live wire, not subtle, not even clever. Just raw intimidation from someone who'd apparently forgotten. I'd raised her to be better than this. "Rebecca, I think you should leave." She stared at me for another 10 seconds before spinning toward the door. It slammed hard enough to rattle my picture frames. I stood alone in my kitchen, looking at the overturned chair and feeling the weight of 29 years of fatherhood pressing down on my shoulders like a transformer about to blow. The house felt dead quiet after Rebecca's explosive exit. I righted the fallen chair and noticed a small scratch on my kitchen island where it had hit. Victoria's voice echoed in my memory as I traced the mark with my thumb. "Oliver, if you bail her out every time, she'll never learn to handle real voltage." She'd said that when Rebecca was 22 and needed money after Jordan lost his construction job gambling on football. I'd wanted to cover their rent. Victoria had insisted they figure it out themselves. She'd been right then, just as she'd be right now. Walking to my garage, I checked the hidden panel behind my workbench. My real savings weren't in any bank account Rebecca could trace or safety deposit box that could be accessed with the right paperwork. Behind a false wall I'd installed myself, protected by a system only Victoria and I had known about, sat $42,000 in cash. Money from side electrical jobs, Victoria's life insurance that I couldn't bring myself to deposit, and 30 years of careful saving from a man who'd watched his own father lose his pension when the market crashed. I didn't open the panel or count the money. Just knowing the circuit was secure, protected from Rebecca's impulsiveness, gave me the stability I needed. Victoria had trusted me to protect our future. I wouldn't fail that trust by enabling our daughter's worst patterns. The next morning, I tried calling Rebecca while drinking my coffee. Straight to voicemail, I waited an hour and tried again. Nothing. By evening, I'd left 4 messages, each one more concerned than the last. Thursday brought more silence. I checked her social media, something I rarely did, and found nothing posted since our confrontation. No photos of Sophia, no updates, no sign she existed anywhere in the digital world. Friday afternoon, my golf buddy Nathan Phillips called while I was replacing a ceiling fan in my bedroom. His voice sounded strained, like he was dealing with a short circuit of his own. "Oliver, have you heard from Rebecca? Jordan came by the pro shop 3 days ago asking if you'd been talking about family money. Said Rebecca was worried about you. 3 days. My stomach dropped like a failed connection. Nathan, she was here Tuesday demanding $15,000. Said Jordan had medical bills. A long pause. What medical bills? Oliver. Jordan's been hitting the poker tables at Talking Stick Resort every night this week. Lost big Tuesday night. Really big. After hanging up, I sat on my bed and stared at the phone. Rebecca had lied. Not just bent the truth or exaggerated, but manufactured an entire medical crisis involving her husband. That level of deception required planning, required desperation beyond what I'd understood. By Sunday evening, a week had passed since Rebecca's explosive visit. No calls, no texts, no indication where she'd gone or what she was planning. I'd driven by her apartment twice. Jordan's truck was there, but no one answered when I knocked. Monday morning, Danny Martinez called. Danny had been doing odd jobs around the neighborhood for years, had worked on Rebecca's plumbing last month. His voice carried embarrassment like a bad ground wire. "Mr. Bennett, I hate to bother you, but Rebecca asked me some weird questions about your house last week. About your schedule, your security system. Said she was planning a surprise for your birthday, but something felt off about it." After Danny hung up, I made a list of what I knew, the way I'd troubleshoot any electrical problem. Rebecca demanded $15,000 using Jordan's fake medical crisis as cover. Jordan was gambling heavily, losing big money. She'd threatened me with knowledge of my savings location and golf schedule. She'd been asking contractors about my house layout and security. She disappeared completely after I refused to help. That's when the cold certainty settled in my chest like a dead short. Rebecca wasn't missing. She was planning something. Tuesday morning arrived with typical Phoenix heat. I dressed for golf, as usual, gathered my clubs and water bottle, then stopped. If Rebecca was watching, if she'd meant those threats seriously, she'd expect me to follow my routine without variation. 2 p.m. every Monday and Wednesday for the past 5 years. Predictable as a timer circuit. Instead of going to the golf course, I drove to Rebecca's apartment complex in Ahwatukee. The place was older, paint peeling from the trim, parking lot full of vehicles that had seen better decades. Rebecca's Honda was in its assigned spot, but Jordan's truck was gone. I knocked firmly on the door. No answer. Knocked again, louder. "Rebecca, it's Dad. I know you're upset, but we need to talk." Nothing. The silence felt wrong. Deliberate, like someone holding their breath waiting for the all-clear signal. Walking around the building's perimeter, I checked windows. Most had blinds drawn, but the small bathroom window was cracked open about 4 inches. Voices drifted through. Rebecca's voice, unmistakable, and someone else. Male. Unfamiliar. Monday and Wednesday at 2, like clockwork. "Old man's been doing it for 5 years. That was Rebecca. Her tone clinical and detached, like she was reading electrical specifications. "Not the desperate daughter from a week ago. And you're absolutely sure about the location?" The second voice was deeper, rougher. The voice of someone comfortable with breaking things. Behind the false wall in the garage, right side about 5 feet up. Panels held by magnets, just pull it straight out. Has to be 40, maybe 45 grand in there. All cash. Dad doesn't trust banks after his father got wiped out in the crash. My legs went numb. I pressed myself against the building's stucco wall, fumbling to activate my phone's recording app. My own daughter was planning to rob me, giving someone else the exact details of where Victoria and I had hidden our life savings. "Security system," the rough voice asked questions like a professional. "None. Dad's old school thinks living in a good neighborhood is security enough. Closest neighbor is Mrs. Patterson, but she's 80 and minds her own business. I crouched beneath the bathroom window, recording every word. Evidence. I needed evidence that this nightmare was actually happening. Keys? Backdoor key under the fake rock by the patio. Same place for 15 years. I'm telling you, Tommy, this is the easiest job you'll ever do. In and out in 10 minutes while he's playing golf. Tommy. A different Tommy from Danny Martinez who'd called to warn me. My brain started connecting circuits I didn't want to complete, and he won't know it's gone until he checks the hiding spot, which he only does about once a month. Wednesday, then, Tommy's voice held finality. This Wednesday at 2:15. You park 3 blocks away and text me if anything looks wrong. I go in, grab the cash, out the back door, meet you at the storage unit to split it. 60/40, right? Like we agreed. You're getting 30% for information, Tommy. I'm taking all the risk here. A brief argument followed about percentages, but I barely heard it. The recording app showed 6 minutes of audio. 6 minutes of my daughter betraying every value Victoria and I had tried to install in her circuit. 6 minutes of evidence that would send her to prison. I crept away from the window and returned to my truck, hands shaking so badly I could barely turn the ignition. Wednesday. They were planning to rob me this Wednesday at 2:15 while I was supposed to be at the golf course. 48 hours to decide how Oliver Bennett would respond to his daughter's ultimate betrayal. By the time I reached home, shock had transformed into something harder. Rebecca had made her choice. She'd chosen Tommy over her father. Chose theft over honest work. Chose betrayal over family. Now I would make mine. I spent Tuesday evening researching security cameras online. By Wednesday morning, I'd purchased a complete surveillance system from the Best Buy on Camelback Road. 4 wireless cameras, cloud storage, motion detection, and smartphone monitoring. The young clerk who helped me seemed surprised when I declined installation. Sir, these systems can be tricky to set up. We offer same-day installation. Son, I've been wiring buildings for 30 years. I can handle 4 cameras. I paid cash and left with everything needed to turn my home into a recording studio of evidence. The first camera went above the back door, angled to capture anyone entering from the patio. The magnetic mount attached easily to the door frame. Wi-Fi connection established within minutes. Through my phone screen, I could see crystal clear view of my back door and the fake rock hiding the key. Camera 2 covered the garage interior, focused specifically on the false wall panel where my money was hidden. Anyone reaching for that panel would be recorded in high definition from multiple angles. Camera 3 monitored the living room and main hallway. Camera 4 watched the front entrance. By Wednesday morning, every entry point was covered. I tested each camera systematically, walking through my house while watching myself on my phone screen. The image quality was remarkable, clear enough to identify faces, sharp enough to document every detail of a crime in progress. Wednesday morning, I made a call I'd hoped never to make. Phoenix police connected me to Detective Rachel Martinez, who agreed to meet at the station immediately. Detective Martinez was younger than I'd expected, maybe early 40s, with sharp eyes that suggested she'd seen enough family crimes to understand the voltage of betrayal. She listened to my entire story without interruption, taking notes as Rebecca's recorded voice described my house layout, security gaps, and daily routine. When the recording finished, she replayed several sections, focusing on the planned timeline. Mr. Bennett, this audio clearly establishes conspiracy to commit burglary. Your daughter and this Tommy individual are planning a felony. You're certain this is Rebecca's voice? Detective, I've been listening to that voice since she said Daddy for the first time. I'd recognize it anywhere. She closed her notepad and studied me with professional assessment. What exactly are you proposing? How do you want us to handle this? I want them caught in the act. I've got cameras covering every angle of my house. Let Tommy break in, let him find the money, then arrest both of them with complete evidence. Detective Martinez spent another hour reviewing procedures and legal considerations. By the time I left the station, she'd committed to the operation. Plain clothes officers would be positioned throughout my neighborhood Wednesday afternoon. I would maintain my normal golf routine, providing opportunity for the crime to unfold naturally. Mr. Bennett, you understand this will likely result in serious charges against your daughter. Conspiracy to commit burglary, possibly additional charges depending on what we find about this Tommy Rodriguez. I understand completely, Detective. Rebecca made her choice when she decided to treat her father like a target instead of family. Wednesday afternoon moved with terrible slowness. I made lunch, reviewed my surveillance feeds one more time, cleaned my already spotless kitchen. At 1:30, I received a text from Detective Martinez, units in position. Maintain normal routine. At exactly 1:45, I grabbed my golf bag, made sure to lock both doors with deliberate visibility, and backed out of my driveway. In my rearview mirror, my house looked peaceful and vulnerable, exactly the way Tommy expected it to appear. The golf course parking lot gave me clear line of sight back toward my neighborhood. I parked facing north and opened the surveillance app on my phone. All 4 cameras showed empty rooms and quiet stillness. At 2:18, motion detection triggered on the back door camera. A tall man in dark clothing appeared, moving with professional confidence. Tommy wore gloves and carried a backpack. He located the fake rock immediately, extracted the key, and let himself into my home within 90 seconds. I pressed Detective Martinez's speed dial number. He's inside. Backdoor entry. Roger that. We see him on your feed, maintaining position until he reaches the target area. The garage camera tracked Tommy as he moved through my house with Rebecca's floor plan memorized. He didn't waste time looking at my TV or electronics. He went straight to the garage, straight to the false wall panel, and pulled it open exactly as Rebecca had described. Detective, he's at the money location. He found it. Copy. All units, move in now. Through my phone screen, I watched Tommy stuff cash bundles into his backpack, completely unaware that 4 police officers were entering through both doors simultaneously. The garage camera captured the moment he realized he wasn't alone, his head snapping toward the sound of heavy footsteps. Police! Drop everything and show your hands. Tommy didn't run, didn't fight, just raised his hands with the resigned professionalism of someone who'd been caught before and knew resistance was pointless. Thomas Rodriguez, you're under arrest for burglary in the first-degree conspiracy and violation of parole. Detective Martinez's voice came through my phone. Suspect in custody. Your daughter should be arriving any moment for phase 2 of the operation. I drove back to my house, knowing justice was being served, but dreading what came next. Police cars lined my quiet street, their lights painting the neighborhood in colors of consequence. Tommy sat handcuffed in one patrol car, staring straight ahead with blank acceptance. Then Rebecca's Honda turned onto my street. I watched my daughter's expression change from casual confidence to confused terror as she processed the police presence. She parked poorly and climbed out, looking like someone walking into their worst nightmare. Detective Martinez intercepted her before she reached my driveway. Rebecca Bennett, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit burglary and accessory to theft. What? No, there's been a mistake. Rebecca's voice cracked. Dad, tell them this is wrong. I stepped into her line of sight. The desperate hope in Rebecca's eyes died when she saw my calm expression, my obvious cooperation with the officers putting handcuffs on her wrists. Dad, how could you do this to me? I'm your daughter. I looked at Rebecca handcuffed, humiliated, facing prison time for trying to rob her father, and felt something unexpected. Relief. Rebecca, you planned to break into my house and steal everything your mother and I saved over 30 years of marriage. You brought a criminal into our neighborhood, gave him detailed plans of our home. I stepped closer. You chose Tommy over your family. Now you live with the consequences. I thought you'd never find out I needed the money, Dad. Jordan and I are drowning in debt. And Sophia needs a mother who doesn't teach her that stealing from family is acceptable. I watched Detective Martinez guide her toward a patrol car. Your mother spent 29 years trying to teach you integrity. Today you learned that lesson the hard way. The patrol car pulled away with Rebecca in the back seat. I watched until it disappeared around the corner, then turned to help Detective Martinez document the evidence recovered from Tommy's backpack. Every dollar I'd saved, every $20 bill from side electrical jobs, every $100 from Victoria's life insurance. All preserved because I'd been willing to treat my daughter like any other criminal. Mr. Bennett, we'll need a formal statement, but the preliminary charges are solid. Rodriguez has 2 prior convictions for burglary. He's looking at 5 to 7 years. Your daughter, as a first-time offender, will probably get 18 to 24 months with possibility of parole in 12. I nodded, understanding that legal consequences were only part of what had been resolved today. The larger justice, the protection of everything Victoria and I had built, the validation of principles I'd maintained despite family pressure, that was already complete. Detective, I'll testify to whatever you need. Both of them made their choices as adults. Thursday's Arizona Republic carried the story on page 6. Security cameras foiled daughter's robbery plot. The article was factual but missed the deeper truth. This hadn't been about technology or police work. It had been about principles held firm under the ultimate test. Detective Martinez called Thursday evening with updates. Tommy had accepted a plea bargain for 6 years. Rebecca's attorney was negotiating, but the audio recording and surveillance footage left little room for defense. Your daughter wants to see you, Mr. Bennett. She's asked about visiting rights. Detective Rebecca made her choice about our relationship when she chose to rob me. That doesn't change because she got caught. I hung up and walked to the garage, removing the false panel one final time. $42,000. Every dollar accounted for, despite Tommy's brief handling. The money was safe. The house was secure. My conscience was clear. Standing where Tommy had knelt just 24 hours earlier, I felt Victoria's presence stronger than I had since her funeral. Her voice echoed in memory. Oliver, love without boundaries isn't love at all. It's just enabling. She'd been right about tough love. Right about consequences. Right about not sacrificing principles to keep peace. Victoria, I did what you would have wanted, I said to the empty garage. Our daughter chose her path, and I chose mine. Sometimes the hardest love is the truest love. I sealed the panel back in place and walked upstairs to my living room, where Mrs. Patterson from next door had left a casserole with a note. Oliver, the neighborhood supports what you did. Standing up to family when they're wrong takes more courage than anything. You're a good man. At 7 p.m., I disabled the surveillance cameras. Their purpose had been served. Tomorrow would bring its own challenges. But tonight I could rest knowing that Victoria's principles had prevailed, that honest work was protected, that even the most painful betrayals could be answered with righteous action. Friday morning brought a call I hadn't expected, Jordan's voice broken and ashamed. Mr. Bennett, I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I needed to say something. Rebecca never told me about the robbery plan. When I found out what she'd done, what she'd gotten involved with, his voice cracked. I'm getting help for the gambling. Real help, not just promises this time. I listened without interrupting. Sometimes a man needs to unload his circuit before he can start fresh. I know I caused this, Jordan continued. My debts, my lies about the medical bills. Rebecca was trying to protect me, and it turned her into someone I don't recognize. I'm sorry, Mr. Bennett. I'm so damn sorry, Jordan. You're right that your gambling started this cascade failure, but Rebecca made her own choices about how to handle it. You can't carry responsibility for her decisions, just like I can't carry responsibility for yours. A long pause. What about Sophia? She keeps asking when mommy's coming home. That hit like a power surge to my emotional system. My 5-year-old granddaughter innocent in all this, paying the price for her parents' poor choices. Jordan, I'll help with Sophia while Rebecca's away. Not with money for lawyers or bail, those consequences stand, but that little girl shouldn't suffer because the adults in her life made bad decisions. Saturday afternoon, I drove to Jordan's apartment to pick up Sophia for the weekend. She ran to me with the pure joy only grandchildren can generate, her small arms wrapping around my waist like a perfect connection. Grandpa Oliver. Mommy said she had to go away for work, but Daddy looks sad all the time. I knelt to her eye level, choosing my words carefully. Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes, sweetheart. Your mommy made a big mistake, and now she has to fix it. But that doesn't mean she doesn't love you. Sophia nodded with the serious expression children get when they're trying to understand adult complications. Are you mad at mommy? The question every engineer dreads, the one with no clean answer, no simple circuit diagram to follow. I'm disappointed in the choices she made, Sophia. But I still love her, and I love you very much. Sometimes love means we have to let people learn from their mistakes, even when it hurts. We spent the weekend at the Phoenix Zoo, feeding giraffes and watching elephants. Sophia's laughter reminded me why some principles are worth the pain of enforcing them. This little girl deserved to grow up understanding that actions have consequences, that family isn't a license to take advantage of each other, that love sometimes requires saying no. Sunday evening, as I tucked Sophia into the guest bed I'd set up for her, she looked up at me with Victoria's green eyes. Grandpa, Will you teach me about electricity like you taught Mommy? Sure, sweetheart. But first, let me teach you about something more important. About earning things instead of just taking them. About telling the truth even when it's hard. About being the kind of person others can trust. She nodded sleepily. Like great-grandma Victoria. Exactly like great-grandma Victoria. 3 months later, I received a letter from Rebecca in county jail. 3 pages of apology. Promises to change. Pleas for forgiveness. But buried in the middle was the sentence that mattered most. I understand now why you did what you did. I hope someday Sophia will be proud of the choice you made to stop me before I got worse. I folded the letter and put it in my desk drawer. Maybe someday we'd rebuild what we'd lost. Maybe not. But I'd sleep well knowing I'd chosen principles over enabling, tough love over easy money. Victoria would be proud. Sophia would grow up learning the right lessons, and the $42,000 in my garage would go toward her college education, earned through consequences, not handed over through guilt. Sometimes the hardest circuits to troubleshoot are the ones in your own family. But when you find the short and fix it properly, everything else starts working the way it should. That's what I told myself as I turned off the lights and headed to bed, knowing I'd made the right choice even when it broke my heart to make it. Some lessons can only be learned the hard way. For Rebecca, for Jordan, and yes, even for me. But now we all knew where we stood, and that was worth more than any amount of money hidden behind a garage wall. And that's the truth about love. Sometimes protecting someone means being willing to let them fall, because a father who catches every mistake raises a child who never learns to stand.